What's up, guys? So we are headed to the hunting grounds today to set up some feed for the deer this year. Got some minerals and licking salts and stuff like that. So we're gonna go up there and start clearing out some trails for ourselves, set up the trail cameras, lay out some feed, and start getting those deers in. So I'm basically just going to be walking through how we set ours up, just to kind of give you an idea if you're, just getting into it or whatever. So hopefully you guys get some good information out of it. So it's just Dad and I today, and hopefully Josh will go out with us sometime, but who knows. So we'll see you guys out there. Got down here. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride. A lot of sweat, blood, and tears went into the making of that. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button down there. We're gonna get the four-wheeler unloaded here, get everything packed on it. I'm gonna take Dad up, come back down and get the feed, and then we're gonna go up and set up the cameras and stuff. So we got the chainsaw, some pruning shears so we can clear some stuff out on a logging road that's down here, and just kind of get like a basis started for this upcoming hunting season this year. The point of all this is to see what the deer are doing at this point in time in the year, basically, so we can get numbers of the deer that we have here and what we're going to be having this coming hunting season. So we're going to be setting up basically a grid of game cameras around this area. We have 8 altogether, so we can kind of do some surveillance and see what their habits are, what their activities through the day and night are, and what we have here in comparison to what we had last year. We have basically been hoofing it up this logging trail for the longest time, and it is a hike and a half up that mountain. So that's why we brought the chainsaw and the pruning shears, was to clear out some of that, so you guys will see all that through the day. And yeah, so that's it, and we're gonna get to it. So see you guys in a bit. So we've concocted our own deer attractant. This is gonna be their food for the next few weeks. So, secret ingredients.
Oh, it tastes as good as it smells.
It does smell pretty good. I'd probably eat it if I were a deer. So that's what we're going to be spreading around up at what's going to be our elevated food plot. We noticed last year that the majority of the bucks were staying up high until late in the evening. And of course, as everybody knows, you can only shoot for so long during the day. So
Well, they were nocturnal.
So we're going to try to get after them and get them some food up there to where they're active in that location throughout the daytime as well as the night. and hopefully it works out the way we want it to.
We will see, said the blind man. All right, Timberjack.
Shoo! Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. We finally got everything up here, ready to go. We got the food here. We're gonna start spreading it around. It's just a mixture of a few different types of minerals, some feed corn, some molasses, and stuff like that. So we're gonna basically spread it all through this area here, and that'll bring them in. Sometimes you pile it up, but they tend to feed off of it too fast. So we try to place it strategically around so it doesn't get utilized so fast. Yeah, so we're gonna start spreading this around, and then we're gonna set up the trail cameras up here to watch the feeding area, and then our other trail cameras down through the rest of the mountain here. So like I said, this is our mixture here. Just some corn and minerals, some liquid minerals. It's pretty much everything the deers are gonna be feeding off of. So Dad's over here roughing some ground up to get that to settle in. That'll really get the minerals into the ground so that the deer are constantly getting the nutrients that they need to grow big horns and become big, mature whitetail. So we've got, I believe I bought 50 pounds of corn, about 10 pounds of ground minerals, which is basically just a bunch of grain with proteins and just different nutrients that really help the antler growth. And then 2 gallons of liquid minerals. We just did corn and molasses last year and a couple different batches of minerals, but I kind of wanted to get everything mixed together. That way they're have a constant source of food. And then later in the season, we're going to come in here after they've been in here and pulled up the ground, and we're going to start laying down like a throw and grow type of food source. That way they have a later season food source as well. How do you want to scoop this out of here, man? You just pick it up and throw it? Pick it up and throw it?
Yeah, that's probably going to be our best bet, buddy. Yep. Still have some water, right?
Do I still have some water?
We have water, we can wash
Yeah. We could probably take like a few areas and just roll that around.
Yep.
And get like a nice string of food going down
we'll
through.
just take it up here, because what I thought you might use is this tree up here for your first camera.
That big tree there?
That big tree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That way's east, that way's west.
Right.
You don't want it facing east, because the morning sun will set the sumbitch off, and then you got, you know.
Yeah.
So we want animals setting it off, not the sun. Plus the morning glare, not so much in here because of the foliage, but
About this shit, man. So we'll do, yeah. You want to bring it over here in this like big opening here?
Yep.
And we'll just kind of roll it along and then go and like kick it.
Just roll it like that.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Because we want them rooting around in here.
Yeah. Digging everything up.
Yep. Digging, pawing, whatever they got to do.
Yep. Pre-season prep of your, whether you're hunting public land or private land, it doesn't matter. Coming out and seeing what is in the woods near you is very, very vital.
For what you can and cannot do. There's certain time periods that you can put stuff out like this. And then
Yeah,
certain time periods
you
that
absolutely have to obey the local laws and guidelines, so you don't get
get
caught
yourself
up.
in trouble.
It just takes the enjoyment out of everything.
Yep.
Besides that, though, you know, like I said, this is vital to get out here and make sure that these deer are getting the nutrients that they need. The property that we've been hunting the past couple years wasn't hunted for a long time, and nobody took care of the property, and it just went by the wayside. And now we have a herd of decent deer, but they're just not getting the mass that you'd want to have.
Well,
So
we got probably about a 4-year-old 9-point and probably about a 4-year-old 7-point.
yeah,
And
but they don't have the mass though.
they
is
don't
the
have
thing.
the mass. They're nice deer,
Yeah,
but they just don't have the mass.
right.
But they're in here.
Yep. So Dad's got the molasses here,
Yeah.
and he's gonna pour it over a couple stumps like that. That, like I was saying earlier, that'll soak nutrients into the ground. So the deer will continuously come back to that, and they'll just lick the shit out of that stump until there just isn't anything left of it. Right. So you can see we've got a couple piles like this laying around. We got that one, and then one over there by that tree, one up there on that rock, with the thought that the minerals will soak into that rock and they'll use it as like a licking stone almost. And then we've broadcasted that corn all the way down through here, and it'll be a nice little food source for them for a while. We picked an area that had fairly green vegetation already, because we figure they're most likely going to be in here feeding on this lighter green stuff. But we want to give them a little bit extra because this is where we're going to be planting later on in the season once all this green is died off, to give them a food source. So we want to get them in a habit of coming in here and feeding on a daily basis and kind of change their strategy up some to match what we want them to do.
That'll give him something to run his antlers on too.
These.
That stump.
Oh yeah. Shazam. How's the height?
Huh?
How's the height?
Actually, you just take it down a little bit. Down. Right about there.
Right there?
Yep. That's what I had over there, and it picked them does up just fine. But you have to look like a son of a bitch.
So can you find our cameras? So last year at the outdoor show we went, we're going to all the booths, and I knew for a fact that I was going to buy bulk trail cameras, and we found a really good company locally here in PA called Bow Creek. Dad's actually wearing their shirt right now. Called Bow Creek, and they gave us an awesome deal on these cameras. If you guys buy bulk through them, they'll hook you guys up on a decent discount. I'll link their Instagram down below and their website down below, so you guys can go check out their cameras if you're interested in them. But this is basically what they are. They're a very well camoed. They have the red lights and the black lights, I guess, for flash.
Infrared.
And infrared, so you can run any of those that you want to. They're passkey activated, so if they were to get stolen out of the woods and whoever stole them wanted to try to activate them, Bow Creek won't allow that without your passcode, as long as they're registered online. So that's a nice security feature without having to have those big bulky boxes and spending a ton of money on the Viper locks. So they hooked us up when we bought the cameras. They gave us 3 pounds of their soybean feed and a couple t-shirts each for Dad and I. So they're a pretty decent company, and I don't mind throwing them out there. So we just got back down here to the truck. Dad's exhausted.
Beat.
Shoulders hurting him. We got our path cut back down here that will be taken up to the top of the mountain. That'll be one of the main ways that we get up and down from that top section that we were laying the feed down in. And we set up a couple more cameras on the way down through in some hot spots that we had a bunch of rubs in last year. So hopefully we get something good on that. And now we're back down here in the bottom. Now back that way there is a huge field back there that I killed a doe out of last year. She was a matriarch, so we had like 6 or 7 does that came in after her and a lot more bucks. So we're going to set some cameras up back there just to see exactly what's bedding down, because we know that that's an established bedding area. We were setting feed and stuff down back there and some minerals, but we decided to move everything up top because we found that the majority of the deer were staying up on the higher levels throughout the day. So we're trying to switch it up so that they are coming to where we want them to be, rather than trying to catch them down here in the bottom during the day. It just wasn't working out last year, so we figured we'd switch it up. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we got a serious coyote issue here, and what they were doing is using this bottom to their advantage and putting the creek to their back, and then of course the mountain and this little flat that comes down here, they would keep this to their front and the creek to their back, because the coyote, he ain't gonna like to cross the water if he don't have to. But we've had coyote down here in the bottom, we've had bobcat down here in the bottom, we've had bear down here in the bottom.
Big black bear.
Big black bear, big, I believe is a boar. He had a huge head on him, and his shoulders were just as wide as could be. But in the winter months, they were down here feeding on these little red berries, but they were nocturnal, and it was real. If they were coming in, it was just like you probably had 10 minutes of shooting light,
Yeah.
and by the time they got to you, it was too dark to shoot. So hopefully we'll get them coming to a food source a little earlier, up on the top.
Up top there.
Because like I say, where I think the bucks are bedding is up high, and then they were working their way down in here, because this is where the does were congregating. We did have some little spikes. Devil dog, I called the one. He had funky little horns. But yeah, hopefully we can change their behavior a little
We
bit
gotta change their habits.
and get them to do what we want them to do.
Right.
So we'll see.
So that's it. We're done. We got all the cameras set up. We got our feed put in. We got our paths cleared. We're good to go, guys. We're gonna harvest some big bucks out of here this year, hopefully. And hopefully you guys get to see the videos and enjoy them. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe.